Last week on YouTube.
All right, guys, IK Multimedia just sent me this pedal for a demo, and we're going to check it out. Oh my God, it's here! It's here! Oh, it's glorious! The glaciers are reforming. The waters are receding. The earth is healing. It's a miracle. Good evening, everybody. It's a star-studded, spectacular evening, and anybody's gonna be here tonight. Who do we have next? Oh my Lord, we have ToneX. Oh, you look gorge. You look just gorge. Doesn't he look gorge? What are we wearing? Paint. Well, you know what they say. Paint's the new pink. Have a great time tonight, ToneX. You deserve it. It's your night. Hey, thanks so much for sending the pedal. I really appreciate it. Yeah, I got the payment. Yeah, thank you. That was awesome. Yeah, I really appreciate that too. Yeah, I'm so excited to do this video for you guys. I really am. And you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna take pictures for my thumbnail with the pedal while making my best O face.
Oh. You know what I'm talking about. Oh.
I know, right? Yeah, and I'm gonna send you all my O face pictures and you can pick your favorite one and I'll use that for the thumbnail. Yeah, I'm gonna get started on it right now. KEMPER killer, HELIX killer, Axe effects, Axe murderer, Quad Cortex destroyer. I got a toner for ToneX. I got a toner for ToneX. I got a toner for ToneX.
Nothing to look at. Go back to work, everyone. Don't act like you're not impressed.
Now, what in the Sam Hill, Blue Blazes, Hee Haw, Kentucky Fried Chicken, Coors Light, Forrest Gump did I just watch? What the hell was that? Shit!
Well, I don't know about all that stuff either, man, but what I can tell you is this is going to be a demo of the ToneX pedal and the software associated with it by somebody who did not get paid from ToneX or get a free unit from them either. I actually purchased this unit with my own money, and I'm going to give you a raw, unfiltered, unbiased, and brutally honest review of this product. Let's get started. Real quick before we get started, let me just say this so that people don't get their fifis hurt. That intro was not me attacking anybody. It was just me having a little bit of fun, poking fun at all of the ridiculous amounts of hype that was associated with the ToneX pedal release. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but in my opinion, we got carpet bombed with a billion videos about this product. I mean, they were just throwing these things at every channel they could find so that they could get the word out that this pedal came out. You know, I mean, it was absolutely ridiculous. Now, I don't blame the other YouTubers for doing these videos. I would have done it too if they threw one at me. So no big deal. I was just kind of, you know, lampooning it a little bit because I thought it was kind of funny and overwhelming in some ways as well. And I'm sure most of the guys that did the videos were also like, geez, I can't believe how many videos there are about this thing. Holy crap. Also, one more thing, I am going to give you guys a brutally honest review of this product, okay? With the software, with the pedal itself, with the way it sounds, and my first impressions, with the tones that are in the app, and the whole, you know, experience with it regarding doing captures myself here, and what I had to go through and everything like that, and I'm going to show you what the final result is. What I finally got it working to capture one of my amps, which is the EVH Stealth Red channel, and I will shoot it out quickly with the same capture that's in my Quad Cortex as well, somewhere later on in the video. But I'm going to give you my raw, unfiltered thoughts about this. So I'm not going to soft pedal things. I don't owe IK Multimedia anything. They didn't give me anything, so I don't have the need to soft pedal the things that were things I didn't like about the product and really overly praise the things that were good about it. I'm just going to tell you what I think, and I'm just going to let you guys know right now, if you're fanboys of the product or of channels that really like it, and you're afraid you're going to get your fifis hurt because I said something that you don't agree with, now's the time to leave. Okay? So, but if you stay, you don't have any right to be offended because I warned you. Okay, so let's just get right into it. Okay, I bought the unit several days ago, and I got it home, opened it up, and did the whole, you know, thing where you hook it up to the computer and download all the software and stuff like that. And you know, that was a little bit of an ordeal, but I finally got it figured out. So that process wasn't too bad. It was kind of typical with any software downloads. The only thing that was a little cumbersome was the fact that each time that I downloaded another app that was associated with that software, I had to re-register the product. And I thought that was kind of a pain in the rear end, but they probably had the reasons for it. It was a little annoying, but whatever. You know, I'm sure we've all dealt with that with the product as well. So my first impressions of the software are it's pretty good as far as navigating through it and finding tones and stuff like that. I mean, it's hard to judge it based on the first time that you work with it because there's always a learning curve. And it wasn't that bad. I mean, I figured my way through it pretty quickly. You know, there's probably some things that could be better, but we're all going to have our own opinions and our own experiences with stuff like that based on what we've used before, and maybe it was similar to that, so it's easier for us to navigate through that and stuff. So I would say that the software, as far as navigation goes and stuff like that, and figuring it out, is decent. Now, regarding my first impressions of the guitar tones that were in the app, I have to tell you that the first impressions of it were awful. Like, it almost scared me away from this thing. My first impressions were like, if these are the tones that this app or the software produces, I'm worried because a lot of the tones sounded like pure ass. I could not stand any of them. I'm talking about the high gain tones. I checked out as many high gain tones as I could through this thing, and I was worried. I was like, you got to be kidding me. I almost boxed this thing up and sent it back to the store because I was like, if this is what this sounds like, forget it. I can't believe people are giving it such high praise. I mean, I could have plugged my guitar into raw sewage and got better sounds than what I was getting out of the software when I first checked out the tones. And again, I'm giving you my raw, unfiltered you know, thoughts here. So don't get mad at me. You know, I'm not going to soft pedal anything. And so I even searched through some other tones and found some that were made by some channels and tried those out, and I was like, these are better than some of the crap that I played, but you know, these are still not something I would use, and I wouldn't put my name on them anyways. I mean, I didn't think they were very good at all, but teach their own. You know, again, they were better than the pure rubbish that I was playing, but they still weren't up to a standard that I would consider good. And I'm not naming names because I don't do that here. So that sums up my thoughts as far as my first impressions of the guitar tones that are in the app, whether they're free or ones that people are, professionals are, that are putting out as samples for people that have reviewed the product on their channel and made a capture and put it in there. I didn't like any of them. Honestly, I didn't. And, you know, sorry, not sorry. It's just the way it is. Now, regarding my first impressions on setting this all up so I can do my own capture, I would say that my first impressions were absolutely awful. It was another situation where I was like, if this is what I have to go through to make captures for a video or even to sell them, I don't know if I want to go through all this. The studio trigonometry and gymnastics that I had to learn and figure out so that I can hook all this stuff up to be able to capture an amp just for a review was ridiculous. Now, I literally had to call one of my buddies, TJ, who's a studio engineer, and I gave up. I'm like, dude, I can't deal with this anymore. I had to have him come over and help me figure all this stuff out so that we could do a capture. And he was even looking at me like, dude, this is ridiculous. So if you guys think for 1 second that you're going to buy this unit and download the software and capture your amps and skip through the tulips, you are wrong. It is not as easy as what people are saying. And that's the thing that kind of bugs me about some of these reviews, is no one's talking about that. Now, maybe there's a reason for that. Maybe they're afraid to talk about it because they feel like they're going to look stupid. Like, well, if I say I had a hard time with something, then people are going to think I'm dumb. But the thing is it's our job as YouTubers to be honest with people at sometimes at our own risk of being called stupid, and it really is hard to work with. Now, granted, I'm not Mr. Plug my guitar into an interface and play through a computer. I don't do that, so I'll give you that context. So there might have been a little bit of an extra learning curve because of that. I play here. I play through my amps and my digital platforms here. I do have an interface, but I don't plug straight into an interface and use apps and plugins and stuff like that to play guitar. So there is a bit of a learning curve with that, like I said. But that being said, it still was very difficult to work out, okay? And my first few captures were awful. They were absolutely terrible. In fact, the funny thing is looking back on those captures, the mistakes I made on them, I can hear the mistakes when I play those old captures now. And people are literally uploading captures into the app there for you guys to try that have that same mistake in it, and they sound just as bad as mine, and I recognize them because I play them, and I'm like, oh yeah, that guy did it wrong. I can tell because mine turned out exactly the same way. And people are uploading this stuff and people are using it and giving it all kinds of thumbs up and stuff. Like, you guys gotta, probably reacquaint yourself with what real guitar tones are if that's what you think is good, because these captures that I tried were just terrible. And I made the same mistake when I first did it. But at least I'm not going to upload it for people to waste their time with. I mean, that's just stupid. Don't do that. So once I got it all hooked up and we figured it all out, I learned that I couldn't use my elaborate system here. I have a switching system here, an amp switcher, and I got 2 of them all rigged together, and I could switch amps and do all that. Now that works perfect with the KEMPER and the Quad Cortex, but that system does not work at all with the ToneX capture software. It just doesn't like it for some reason. So I had to literally unplug one of my amps from the switcher and go straight into it in order for me to do this, and that's a pain in the ass. So now, if you don't have a switcher, you won't have to deal with that. I'm just giving you context here as far as what my personal experience was. So take it all with a grain of salt. And then we finally got a capture to work, and we were like, okay, this, after many attempts, this is what we have to do. We have to unhook the amp from the switcher and isolate it from all that, and then it'll do the captures properly. Now, the other thing that I'll say is if you're going to do your first capture with this, do the fastest version, because you don't want to wait 3 to several hours to find out it didn't work, and then now you're like, oh my God, I mean, that is soul crushing. Do the fastest one to at least make sure it works, and then you can, do do the more elaborate stuff after that. Anyways, after many hours of me doing it by myself and having my friend TJ work with me, we finally got a capture to work, and I'll play it for you in a little bit here. But the thing is you almost wonder, like, is the juice worth the squeeze? I mean, it's such a tedious process, and it takes so long for the software to do its job. I mean, you're talking to a guy who is used to, like, the Quad Cortex taking 4 minutes, or the KEMPER taking 45 seconds or something like that to do the captures, and they do a really good job. So when you compare that experience to something that takes at least an hour, at least on my computer, now depending on your computer, your times will vary. You know, I have a new computer that I'm setting up today, so it'll probably be faster after that. But still, you're looking at quite a bit more time when you do the captures, and you really have to wonder again if the juice is worth the squeeze when it comes to that. And if you really like the product and you know how to use it really well, and it's worth it to you to do the captures that way, well, that's your own personal choice. I'm coming from the aspect of, is it worth it for me to do this in order to sell captures? Because I would have to unhook each one of these amplifiers and capture them individually in order for me to do that. And I didn't buy this to review it. I'm just being full disclosure. You know, I did not buy this unit to review it. Why would I do that? That's just stupid. You know, I bought it so that I can make captures for you guys and sell them at an affordable rate and give you a great tone to use on your ToneX pedal and give you some legit awesome amp tones for your ToneX pedal. That's why I bought it. And even with that in mind, I'm still struggling with, like, man, do I really want to put myself through that so that I can make captures? And honestly, I haven't made up my mind about that yet. I really haven't, because the amount of work it's going to take to do that is going to be insurmountable. It really is, but we'll see what happens. Okay, so now let's talk about how accurate are the captures and how good are they. I would say that they're very good. Very, very good captures. So when I finally got it all figured out and did the capture, it sounded incredible. It really does do a good job. So for you guys out there that are wondering if it's legit or not, yeah, it's legit. It does a great job on the captures. It takes a really long time, but the results are definitely very good. And this is coming from a guy who plays these amps every day, who has reviewed a ton of amps. I also play my Quad Cortex a lot. I play my KEMPER a lot, and I've done captures on both of those units for quite a while now. I'm very familiar with how it should work and how it should sound. And I'd say the ToneX is legit. It keeps up with those very well, and I think it does a great job with the captures. Now let's talk about the pedal. First impressions with the pedal, I think it's really cool. It's small, it's easy to carry around, it's compact. It has pretty much the features on it that most people would want for, you know, a pretty basic setup. You can incorporate it with your analog rig or with a digital rig via 4-cable method, and I think that's really cool. You know, it's easy to use. We're all used to submenus and pressing and holding buttons and finding submenus and stuff like that. It's kind of oldish tech, but it's also stuff that we're familiar with, you know. It's not ancient tech. It's just tech we've moved on from over the last several years, but we're still familiar enough with it where we can acclimate to it easily. So yeah, the pedal's cool. Now, the thing is that we all have to keep in mind, I hate to be Captain Obvious here, but the pedal doesn't sound good or bad. It's the captures that are in it that sound good or bad. So the pedal's only as good as the captures that are in it. So if you have crappy captures, pedal sounds like crap. If you have good ones, pedal sounds good. It's that simple. Now, the one huge, massive oversight that these guys made with this pedal is you can capture pedals like overdrive pedals with the software, but you can't load them in the pedal. You can only have an amp tone in there. So I think it would have been a lot better for them to allow you to have a pedal and your amp in the ToneX pedal together, so that you at least have those two things in there for guys who just need a pedal and an amp. You know, they don't use effects and stuff like that. Now they can just run it straight to front of house and be done. That was a huge oversight, and if I was in the board meeting of when they were designing this thing, I would have insisted, like, guys, you have to put that feature in there, because why are we capturing the pedal with the software but not putting it in the ToneX pedal. That just makes no sense. It's like you can go swimming, but you can't get wet. Now, is that a deal breaker? No, I don't think it's a deal breaker, but I think it's a huge oversight, and I think it was a really dumb decision to not put that in there. But, you know, I have an overdrive pedal here. I also have overdrive pedals in my digital gear, and maybe that's part of what they thought. They're like, well, you know, if you're going to incorporate it in your, you know, analog gear, you probably have an overdrive anyways, and if you're going to incorporate it in your digital gear, there's overdrive pedals in those. But then why are you allowing us to capture it with the software then? What's the point of that? You know, that's my thought with it. So let me just rank a few things for you guys here, 1 to 10, 1 being worst, 10 being best. As far as the capture process goes and the whole learning curve with it, I would say that I would give it a 4. I mean, it was a freaking nightmare, man. I'm not kidding you. There were days I just wanted to take my guitar and bash it over my computer. I mean, I was freaking frustrated, man. It sucked. So the learning curve was terrible. And the thing is in the little map, the little guide they give you on how to hook everything up, I mean, it's, to some people it might look really simple, but to others it doesn't. And the thing is that, at least from my perspective, because again, I don't plug my guitar into an interface and play, you know, into my computer. From my perspective, I didn't even know you needed a DAW to do this. And maybe they just assumed that we knew that. And again, at the risk of sounding like an idiot, I'm just telling you because there's probably other people watching this video right now who don't even know that you need a DAW up and running and have things routed through that in order to do captures with it. I did not know that until I watched some videos, and I'm like, wait a minute, I got a freaking DAW? Like, oh God, that too? That's when I called my friend TJ. I was just like, you got to come over here and help me, you know? And here's the other thing too. Let me just say this. I know studio engineers in this area that I'm friends with that are very, very good at their job. They do reamping and mixes for major labels. I mean, these guys are no joke. Very good studio engineers and producers, and they have state-of-the-art studios. And even they told me the same thing, that this thing was a nightmare to work with at first. I mean, it was awful, and their first captures turned out like crap as well. So I'm not alone in that. I'm really not. So I would give the initial setup and learning curve a 4 on this thing. So now that I know how to do it and I have everything set up the way I need to in the computer, I have a template saved on my DAW and all that stuff, I would give the process maybe a 6 because I still have to do all the different routing and cables and all the different stuff that's way more difficult to do you know, than with the Quad Cortex or the KEMPER. So it's still way more difficult and it takes way longer. So I'd give it a 6. Now, the results of the capture, I would give that a solid 9. I think the captures came out really good. They sound good, they feel good, they're really legit, and yeah, I would say that the results are very good. So now you have to just take all that and see if the juice is worth the squeeze for your particular situation. And the fact that you have to buy additional equipment, such as a reamp box, whether it's someone else's or the one made by IK Multimedia, is also something that you have to consider with this. I mean, that's another $250 right around there that you'll have to spend. So keep that in mind when you think, oh, I'm going to save all this money by buying the Tonex. I'm going to spend $399 and I'm done. No, you're not. If you want to make your own captures, you're going to spend more than that. All right, let's hear it in a quick mix. Okay, so I think it sounds great. I really do. And something a lot of people don't talk about is the feel. The feel is really good as well. It feels great to play. It sounds great. I don't have any problem with the way my capture came out at all. I think it sounds really freaking good. Is it the bestest, westest, estest capturing device in the world? No. I mean, look, it's just as good as the Quad Cortex in my opinion. You know, I don't think it's killing everybody in the market. I really don't. Is it better than the KEMPER? I haven't shot it out with the KEMPER yet, so I don't really know. So stay tuned to the channel, and I'll maybe do some shootouts with that. So now let's shoot it out with the Quad Cortex. I think it's extremely close. I don't think one did it better than the other, but I will say this, the Quad Cortex is much faster and much easier to work with. So which one do you think I want to work with when I come down here to do captures? Easily the Quad Cortex. I always look at stuff that way. Like the harder something is to work with, the less I want to work with it. You know, the easier it is, the more I want to work with it, especially when the results are same or really close to each other. Now, for those of you who are wondering like, hey, should I sell my Quad Cortex and get one of these? I would say no, don't. Because if you sell your Quad Cortex just to get a ToneX pedal, where are you going to get your effects now? Now you got to buy all the effects that you used in your Quad Cortex and apply those and hook those up to your ToneX pedal. And I just think that's a goofy decision. I mean, you're going to be selling something that has everything you need in it for something that has only one thing that you need, and that's an amp tone. And now you got to buy all this other gear to hook up to it. And I just think that that would be a bad move on your part. I really do. Don't sell your Quad Cortex to get a ToneX. I just think that's kind of stupid, to be honest with you. Now, if you have a heavy amp and cab and a pedal board, and you're just tired of lugging all that stuff around as far as the amp and cab is concerned to your gigs and your practices and all that stuff, well, I would say that this would be a great product for you because you can incorporate this little pedal into your pedal board and have great amp tones in it if you can find them. That's the other part. You got to be able to find them, and I haven't found any yet in the app that I would use. I think they all sound like pure shit. I'm just being honest. Now that said, I haven't tried every single one of them because there's a billion of them in there, but the ones I tried are just garbage, and the guys that are doing tones for this are just using simple setups like an SM57. I'm sorry, but I'm not paying for a tone that is made with an SM57. That is phoning it in. Now, 30 years ago, miking a cab with an SM57 in a studio was standard practice, but we've evolved since then. We've all evolved since then. Everything's gotten better. You know, 30 years ago, we used to watch movies on VCRs too, but now we use DVD players and Blu-ray players and stuff like that. And, you know, I mean, we're into 4K players now. You know, so why are you doing the VCR version of guitar tones now when there's better mics and better ways of capturing things? Don't use just an SM57. Pair it with a ribbon mic and get a really big fat tone. That's what I did when I captured my red channel on my EVH, and it sounds way better. It's not boxy. It sounds fuller, bigger. You get a bigger spectrum of sound. I mean, that's really what you got to do. And if I do captures, that's how I'm doing it. You know, I mean, so you guys that are making these simple captures and selling them, you know, with the SM57 setup, I mean, you're phoning it in. Do it better. You know, get some better mics involved. And I mean, you just, I would never ever put that kind of stuff up on a marketplace, whether it's my website or someone else's, and sell it. If I went to a studio and recorded guitar at a studio, and the engineer had the audacity to just slap an SM57 in front of my cab and say, okay, let's go, I'd be like, sorry dude, but we're going to have to get some more mics involved here, at least one ribbon mic to pair with that so I can get a bigger, fuller spectrum of sound here. I don't want just an SM57 on my cab. I expect better than that. That's what I'm paying for. But getting back on track here, if you have an amp and cab that you're sick of lugging around, this would be a great product for you because you can get a good capture, hopefully, in this and replace your amp and cab with it and take it with you when you incorporate it into your pedal board. Now, if you have a digital platform that you're not real happy with lately because, you know, modeling, in my opinion, is kind of, I think it's old tech. I don't think modeling is as good as capturing or profiling anymore. I just don't think it is. Sorry, but that's just the way it is. So if you have a modeler that you are kind of tired of the amp tones in, keep your modeler. Don't sell it. Use it for cable method with the ToneX pedal, and you will get better amp tones as long as you buy good ones from people or know how to do good ones yourself. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope you enjoyed the fact that I gave you an honest, unfiltered, unbiased, review of this product. I don't think I held anything back because I don't owe anybody anything. I owe you something. I owe you the truth. And I feel like I delivered that to you today. And look forward to more videos with this product if I end up keeping it. I will do maybe some some other videos with it where I hook it up to my HX Stomp or something like that and show you what I did and tell you what I think of that setup. So we'll see. I mean, if I end up keeping the product, I'll probably end up doing some captures for you because, again, that was the only reason why I bought it. I will not buy a product anymore just to demo it. It's not worth my money. It's not worth my time. If companies want me to demo products for them, they can send it to me and or pay me. I don't care because my time's worth something, and I totally understand why the other channels that got one or got paid to do the demo had that same attitude about it. I don't blame them at all. I would have done the same thing. Well, thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. And to all my subscribers and Patreon supporters, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate you guys. And if you haven't subscribed, please do and click the bell so that you can be notified every time I either go live or come out with new episodes. I got a lot more stuff coming up for you guys, and I'll see you on the next one.